Alright, Shalawam Israel. I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, the Buanas to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalawam to let men out there doing this work of faith and labor of love, truth, sincerity. Now, I just wanted to go into a quick commentary on the video that I just posted, Man Up, number 5, Mental Jewels. Just give a little bit of a breakdown of, the scriptures, that I post up throughout this quick segment. So, with that, I just hope this is edifying. So, here we go.
Okay, I give a fuck about making some kind of positive or progressive influence in as many lives as possible. Okay, I care about dropping jewels on y'all. That's why I'm always talking about mental jewels.
Right. So, from this point in which he said that, he basically cares about, touching the different lives that's out there. And, when we do these shows, when we do lessons, when we are out there on the highways and byways, the people that we're trying to seek or we're trying to reach out are those of the potential or those of the hopeful elect, because that's what this thing is all about, the elect. And, as you can see, the scripture that I used right here was Sirach 33:17. Consider that I labored not for myself only, but for all them that seek learning. And, and I posted this is because first and foremost, you have to be in this thing for yourself. So you learn for yourself. Then secondarily, you learn to pass down the knowledge in which the Most High has bestowed unto you, unto the rest of the Akim out there. And you do that through your experiences. Okay, that's why it says here in Luke 22 and 32. I'll start at 31. And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan hath desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. But I have prayed for thee, that thy faith fail not. And when thou art converted, strengthen thy brethren. And, Satan tempting, Peter, or just using any man in any instance, whatever the case may be, that you go through that particular situation and Satan is trying to sift you, about the truth, about it, the way of understanding. You pray upon things, you go through your situation, and the Most High brings you through, and it's off of your faith, and off of him having mercy upon you. And when you're converted, you strengthen your brethren. So once you go through whatever particular situation it is, and you may have gained a mental jewel from that situation, some strength, some more knowledge, some more wisdom out of the situation, some more understanding out of the situation, examining yourself out of this situation, whatever knowledge that was imparted unto you through the Spirit of the Lord, through your personal experiences, now you share with the other brethren so that they can either learn from your mistakes or just from your situation. So in turn, that can help them in their individual walk within this truth, and that's how we show our work of faith and labor of love towards one another through the Spirit of YAHAWAH. And that's why David said in Psalms 51, basically that for the Lord to have mercy upon him, and he would teach transgressors thy ways, because he went through his experiences, of him going off. So now he learned from his situation that he can go and teach others not to walk down this path or not to make the same mistakes in which I have made. Okay, so with that, we go on to the next point.
I understand that the underlying fabric to the human existence is suffering. A lot of people are suffering. I suffer daily. But guess what? We got to deal with it to the best of our abilities. And
from this point here, he said that he's suffering. A lot of people are suffering. And I pulled 1 Corinthians 12:26. And whether one member suffer, all the members suffer with it. Or one member be honored, all the members rejoice with it. So, within this truth, you have one particular brother, that may be going through something, you're supposed to sorrow for that brother, you're supposed to feel compassion unto him, That's why the scripture says in Sirach 37, I believe, verse 12, and be continually thou with a godly man who will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry, because that brother that's sorrowing with the next man, his brother to the right of him, he knows that he could wind up going through that same situation. So he places himself in the same mind frame as his brother that's with him. So in turn, he's enduring that pain with him, as if he was in that situation, because he knows and has the understanding of that, and with that, just like with a quick example of Moses, this is Hebrews 11 and 24. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. Right? So, what? We have jakes all over. The globe suffering. The elect across the globe is suffering. So what? We're choosing to suffer with one another, that we can all, rejoice, Lord willing, in the kingdom. That's why I said what? When one member suffer, all members suffer with it, or whether one member be honored, all members rejoice with it. So now we're all suffering together, but what? Lord willing, in the kingdom, we look to be honored and to be rejoicing together, because that's why they still have the saying, what is lonely on the top? You just can't have one man on the top. You're supposed to bring your brothers with you. So now we're in this hell, this captivity, so there's no time for rejoicing, we're in captivity. So with that, the next point.
We don't deal with our suffering and our pain by avoiding it or replacing our pain with something else. You know what I'm saying? We have to sit down, stare that pain and that suffering in the face, and figure out why and deal with it. That's how you grow. That's how you heal. Okay?
So, from that point right there, I pulled 1 Corinthians 11:31. For if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. And, I put examine yourself, which goes into what? 2 Corinthians 13:5. And the things in which he mentioned pretty much goes into self-reflection, or what's known as a reflective process. But I'm not going to get into that too much right now. I'm going to save that, Lord willing, for the next segment, of this. All right. So what we have to judge ourselves when we go through certain situations, like as he said, to find out how, why, this is that and the third. You ponder upon these things, which helps you to grow,
Heal. Okay. You don't heal by jumping from, one thing to the next. You know what I mean? You can't replace that. That is an arrested development mentally and spiritually. That's something I don't want to do.
Now, from this point here, he said you don't heal by going from one thing unto the next. He said that's basically an arrested development. Basically, what he was saying is that's a disaster which will bring you to an unstable place within your mind. And that's why I pulled James 1:8. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, because a quick example, like what women do. Now, this is on a different level, because we know when women deal with different men, they put in different spirits upon them. But that's a trait of which women do. They go from one situation unto the next, so their mind is unstable, and they can't process things, and they can't learn from their past situations, because they just move right into the next situation. When we go through things, you have to take that time out to, reflect upon them. As I said, briefly touching on the point of having a reflective mind, or going through what's known as a reflective process. Okay, so you don't want to be unstable in your mind. You want to gather your thoughts and gather your wits about yourself, so that you can move on and that you continue and you can go stronger within this faith. All right, so the next point.
You know what I mean? Sometimes y'all see me laughing and joking. I'm laughing to keep from crying. Y'all don't know what I do. I do a lot of shit every fucking day. But I don't cry about it. I don't project that on nobody. I don't fucking say, woe is me, lay my head in the pillow and crying and shit. I don't do none of that. I deal with all of my responsibilities and everything that I take on, because I'm a fucking man and I have kids that look up to me, not just my children.
And from this point here, he said that he don't be in that woe is me spirit. He doesn't try to project that off onto anybody and things of that nature. He said what he deals with, and he goes through it because he's a man, so on and so forth. And that's why I pull what Joshua 1:7. Only be thou strong and very courageous, As he said, what basically like going into Job, gird up thy loins like a man, dealing with your situations as a man should, by walking through them, not trying to avoid them or dodge them, but you go through your situations, because you trying to avoid a certain situation. Maybe the Most High wants you to go through that situation so you could gain some type of experience, or that you can learn something out of that situation. But if you try to avoid that, then you can't grow, you know. So you can't avoid the signs and the things that the Most High have laid out before you. As Jonah tried to run from the Most High, but the Most High had a mission for him. So it says what? Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all thy law, which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. So when you go through different situations and trials and tribulations within this walk in this faith, you don't turn to the right or to the left, but you stay focused upon the scriptures, that within all your mind, you're going to constantly prosper. Through Satan throwing different obstacles or different monkey wrenches upon your way, you're going to prosper, and you're going to continue to endure within this faith, because that's what it's like in a race where you hit those mile markers. You may hit a 50-mile marker, a 100-mile marker. That's showing your endurance. You're showing progress because you're moving forward. You're moving on through your individual situations. Okay? So, going on.
But other kids out there, some of y'all, and I will not let, to the best of my ability, let anybody down. I will not mislead you guys. I will not misguide you guys. If I don't know some shit, I just don't know it. I won't talk about it. I stick to what I'm good at and what I know, and that's it. And I never think I'm too smart to fucking not be corrected. Okay.
And he made some key points here as well. That he don't want to let anyone down. If you can be there for a brother in any type of way, you want to be there for him. You don't want to let that man down. Whether it's monetarily, words of encouragement, some type of strength, whatever it may be. He said that he don't want to lead people astray, because we have various examples out there of men who are leading people astray. Alizé going off, he's set up basically to draw disciples, wicked niggas after him to follow his, pernicious ways, his wicked ways. Nate Satan, General Yohana, so on and so forth. And he said, and also, Mike Rashid here, he said that he's not, he doesn't think of himself, in such of a high light that he can't be corrected, and that's where a lot of people err, and sometimes, within his truth, how we had the scripture, to suffer wrongfully, or sometimes you might not be suffering wrongfully, but whatever it is, you have to be willing to be humble, to take that correction, because sometimes if a brother pull up a certain issue upon you, or you get rebuked by the apostles or whatever the case may be, you might not see what they see at first, or you might not understand it. But if you take the time out to sit back and think, and not be so rash with your tongue, rash with your mouth, rash with your actions, then maybe the Most High will impart the understanding unto you, and therefore you can see it, and you can deal with your situation as a man, and you can move forward from it. So this truth is all about growth, man. And how the brothers in Mississippi, they did a lesson a few times. Apostle Gabar always mentions it. About that you are your worst enemy within this truth, and that's why I decided to throw up this clip segment, do this quick commentary, and Lord willing, the next segment onto this will be Man Up number 6, suffering and self-reflection. For brothers to be able to pay more attention unto themselves, be more attentive unto themselves, so that you can examine yourself, because there's always new brothers coming into the faith, and they might not have a clear understanding on how to examine themselves, or different ways to think about things that they can examine themselves. So, I just hope this is some strength for brothers, whatever it may be. I just hope it's helpful through the spirit of YAHAWASHI. The Lord willing, I'll see you brothers in the next segment. With that, Shalawam.